Hello everyone and welcome to another Dark Souls 3 build video. If you've seen one of my previous videos where I was trying to invade with Shwarakari, I had to dig up my old level 70 character which I hadn't used in a very long time because I wasn't happy with the way she turned out. But I've had another look and I think I've gotten her to the point where where I'm happy with her now. So let me quickly show you the stats, show you under the hood, and we'll get on to some invasions and the fun I've been having with this girl. So for her main weapon I'm using the Greatsword of Judgment, +4, so that's a +8 upgrade in real money. A crystal longsword as sort of as a soft swap for chase downs, because obviously great swords aren't very good at chase downs, and you know it's always handy to have a fucking straight sword handy. And I'm using the sorcerer's staff in my left hand to cast my spells. This was the staff with the highest spell buff I could find at this upgrade level and with this amount of intelligence I've got. But if anyone knows of anything that can get me a higher spell buff, higher than 156, then I'll quite gladly put that in the build. For hard swapping, I've got a few extra bits and pieces. I've got Crystal Dagger, Crystal Estop, which I don't really use, and because I needed something, because I can't use a great bow, I need something really long range to pester people. I put the Dragon Rider bow on here. I would have liked to have used the Dark Moon longbow because, you know, aesthetically fits with the build, but this one looks pretty fucking tight, and you know, it does alright damage and you're able to ping people from afar, so I'm quite enjoying that. Let's just put that back on. Right, let me show you the stats. So I'm rocking 33 Vigor, 16 Attunement, which is the base attunement for the Sorcerer starting class, 29 Endurance, 15 Vitality, enough Strength and Dex so I can wield the Greatsword of Judgment one-handed, because that's always fucking useful. I suppose I could just left the Strength enough so I could two-hand it, just dump the rest into another stat, but I wanted to be able to one-hand it. And then I've got 30 Intelligence, which is bumped up to 35 by the Skull Ring, and then base Faith and Luck, which is fine. And fashion, obviously the most important thing in any build, I'm going for Dancer's Crown, Forearm Armour, which is fast becoming one of my favourite armour chest pieces actually. I think it looks so fucking tight. It's the best thing that came out of Dark Souls 2. Dancer's Gauntlets and the Alba Leggings. So we get a respectable 25 poise with this setup, so which is nice, so I can swing through, you know, most smaller weapons. For the rings, I've got Prisoner's Chain, Ring of Favour +3, Scholar Ring, which I pretty much keep on at all times for that extra damage boost, and you know, my Obscure Ring, which I can soft swap to Bellowing, Dragon Crest Ring, Hornet Ring, you know, whatever. I've got only 2 spells in the build, but I only need 2 spells. These are a good 2 spells: Soul Spear and Snap Freeze. And Snap Freeze is got to be one of the best spells in the game, I think, for invasions. Its zoning potential is absolutely fantastic, which you'll see in the clips coming. Just another thing, the damage. So unbuffed, the Greatsword Judgment gets 450 AR, whilst buffed, that goes up to 530. So that is a respectable damage that we got at +8 here, and obviously because it's magic damage we can do some nice chip damage through shields. So yeah, let's go invade. Right, so for this first invasion we're at Lothar Castle, being like Sticky Bandit, starting up by the fat man. Don't need to use the silver cat ring, you can just jump on the ledge there. And in this invasion, this is sort of me. I was really struggling and trying to get used to sort of managing using melee and spells at the same time, and I make a mistake with this fight, and I use Great Soul Arrow, which I have on the build instead of Soul Spear at this point. I try and use it as you would use a crossbow, by sort of spamming it out pretty much and using it to punish passivity and things like that. The issue with playing that way with a wizard character is that obviously with a crossbow you have, well, pretty much unlimited bolts. I mean, obviously you don't have unlimited, but for all intents and purposes you're never going to run out realistically in an invasion of crossbow bolts. Whereas with spellcasting you've only got like 24 casts at most, depending on how much Ashen Estus you've taken with you. So I sort of end up spamming out great soul arrow and just sort of spunking all my AFP, and then I'm like, right, well, what the fuck do I do now? Whereas in some of these situations I should have used snap freeze, which I do in the very last invasion. I finally get wise and I use snap freeze to its full potential. You see, he gets a good parry there. I won't say that was a lucky parry because that was a very telegraphed attack. I'll tell you what, I'm fucking loving this greatsword, man. It's so fucking cool. It's so stylish. I mean, like, the Moonlight Greatsword's probably better in nearly all aspects. Sort of reduce. I think it's got lower stat requirements and maybe it does more damage and scales better with intelligence. But man, Greatsword Judgment, it looks so fucking cool. The moveset is so stylish. So he's come back in here. He's after you know, he got his parry and he thought that was working for him. So I'm sort of like, right now, I'm not gonna let that happen again. So I try and circle around for backstabs and things like that. You see, I'm trying to use Great Soul Arrow as a punisher, and if that was Crossbow Bolt, that probably would have killed him. But because, you know, spells like that are typically slower, and because I haven't really optimised this build for doing damage with spellcasts, then I'm not doing a tremendous amount of damage with it, which is sort of one of the reasons I sort of went over to Soul Spear, just so like it would prevent me from, you know, spamming out spells like they were Crossbow Bolts, and also I can get some decent-ish damage. And I'll tell you what, the Soul Spear in conjunction with Snap Freeze works really, really well as a combination, because you cast Snap Freeze, which creates sort of a mist that sort of impairs their ability to see, and impairs their ability to see what you're casting next. So you cast Snap Freeze, and then you lock on and you cast Soul Spear, and obviously they can't see you, so, you know, they get hit with the Soul Spear. And I end up finally managing to do that in the final invasion. So yeah, he summoned Jesus back in. You know, remember when Jesus wore the Ring Knight armor? Oh yes, I remember. And unfortunately, there's a little bit of latency between us, so he's able to get some. He's got some good phantom range on his side. See that? Look at that! Fucking Christ! Get a LAN cable, Jesus. Yeah, see, sort of I try and punish this passivity with the spells, but it's just not. In that situation, it would have been more beneficial if I cast Snap Freeze. Because, you know, they're going to get hit with a Snap Freeze no matter what. I mean, it might not have, you know, proc Frostbite, which is ultimately the goal of Snap Freeze, but it would have sort of forced them to move either backwards or forwards. That's why Snap Freeze is such a good zoning spell. And, you know, it does damage as well. You get like 250 damage when you proc Frostbite with it. See, the summon sits down here. Probably he sort of doesn't want to play my game, but as soon as he sees me circling around for the backstab and he sees an opportunity, he fucking leaps up. No, not going to let you have your little 1v1. Oh, and Jesus is also a parry spammer. Who'd have thought it? I don't remember that bit in the Bible when I used to go to Sunday school, you know. And the Lord doth saith, thou shalt mash L2 until thine parry is good. Tell you what, these crossbow guys up here, this is a great choke point to hold with these kinds of invasions. If you can... And he gets a fucking parry on me there. If you can hold this choke point for as long as possible, those crossbow guys, in conjunction with the guy throwing undead hunter charms, is a fucking godsend, because they're constantly raining down hellfire on these guys, and the hunter charm in conjunction with those exploding bolts just it really pushes them back. It's fantastic. See, again, I should have used Snap Freeze here instead of spamming Soul Arrow, because it's sort of that sort of narrowish staircase is a great place to cast those kind of spells. Pestilent Mercury would also probably be a good spell, but its AoE is a lot smaller, I think. I go over to the Crystal Longsword here. I'm just sort of testing the water and trying to test out different ways to deal with this. Yeah, nice parry. Just walk up to me and press parry. Try and reaction parry it. Yes, do it. Almost get him, but because of the latency, he managed to get his heal off before I can kill him. Yeah, nice counter damage. Or instability damage, whatever it's called. So I have such problems with those fucking. The running R1 on the Greatsword suck, and everyone knows it. But I have such fucking problems dealing with it. I always end up getting hit by running R1s people with Greatswords. I don't know, mate. Just something about it just really, I can't dodge it. It's one of those things, my Achilles heel, really. See, again, I should have used Snap Freeze. That would have been a hell of a lot better than spamming fucking Great Soul Arrow everywhere. Nice parry. And you see that the Phantom he's removed his untrue dart ring, so he obviously means business. And I think he's out of Estus, and he's probably gone to Sun Princess to get some residual healing. He's reduced to spamming fucking throwing knives at me. See, I'll pop a Divine Blessing here because I'm pretty certain I could win this, and I was like, right, I need to give this another go because they're being really passive and they can't make it past this choke point, so I need to sort of encourage them to come up to me. And now that I've spunked on my FP, I go over to my parry shield because it's, you know, having the staff with nothing to cast is pointless. So just swapping over to the parry shield, and I can parry both of those weapons through setup parries. So I'm pretty certain I'll be able to get a parry on at least one of them. If he doesn't fucking do jumping attacks all the time. See, they're gradually making their way up the staircase and they're getting further and further towards the PvE. Oh, it's getting me down, half health. Axeman Andrew's involved. You don't want to fuck with the Axeman. Phantom's so low, and he gives me a sarcastic clap. What was that about the pride cometh before the fall? Yes, remember that, sir. I'll remember that clap. GG Phantom. Again, the second time around. So now, wait for my Estus to come back. Chug. I should have gone to the Estus ring there, so I could probably would have got up to full health, but it doesn't really matter. So he's, you know, he doesn't want to fight me anymore. He wants to go back and summon his friend again. He wants to summon Jesus. And you know, who wouldn't want to summon Jesus? You know, with his parry spam and his fucking greatsword. So going over to Crystal Longsword to do some chase downs, and obviously, because he had a parry once, he wants to parry again. Keep the pressure on. One, two. Sir. Remember that parry you got on me earlier? I checked my gestures to make sure my point down was equipped. And of course, summoning on the Phantom, but roll catch, death. GG guys, that was good fun. I probably would have been able to end that sooner if I'd used Snap Freeze a little more, well, at all. So onwards to the next invasion. We're down in Arathor dungeon this time. And this is one of those heartbreaking invasions where you invade two people and you are worlds better than both of them. They've googled what a meta build is, so they've got Dark Sword and Carthus fucking Curved Sword. But I kept this invasion in here because this is sort of the one where I decide that Snap Freeze is a fucking good spell. And I use it a great deal, and it is very effective in these kind of narrow corridors. Snap Freeze really is the spell to go for. See, they're in this narrow corridor, they're stopping. Snap Freeze. It's all building up, and look, that Phantom's just fucking standing in it. Eventually that'll pay off. I know they nerfed the Carthus, but still a fucking annoying weapon to fight. Especially when the Phantom is using fucking Dark Sword as well. So yeah, just spam that in there. If they're going to hide around the corners, if they want to hold that choke point, they're going to get fucking frostbitten for it. You see the host comes out, he bursts his way through the frost. And there you go, Phantom took frostbite damage. I was nowhere near him. Look how more effective that was than spamming Soul Arrow. Of course, they don't want to come down here with PvE, so they get fucking Snap Freeze spammed at them. Yep, he falls off, he's stuck in an animation, frostbite again. God, the lag on this White Phantom was enormous. Look, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 R1s before I could finally break him out of it because of that lag. That was so fucking depressing. And of course they managed to R1 spam me to death. So, you know, fuck you guys. But using snap freeze was a good idea there, and I just wanted to keep that in there to showcase how useful it can be. This one was just a bit of fun. I literally don't move for this invasion, so I see them up there and they drop down to the giant. They've popped a seed, so I'm staying out of the way of the PvE. As they walk across the bridge, 1, 2, roll out of the way. Host rolls to his death. You know, whoever told you invasions were hard were lying. Sometimes they're the easiest thing in the fucking world. Right, we're back at Dragmarks. This was excellent fun. This was a little 1v1, and you know it's a 1v1, so you know it's much of a muchness. But this was such an epic fight, and I used snap freeze quite effectively here, and I get some cool weapon art damage. You know, having a 1v1 is fine as long as it's not by the bonfire. Like, we're both dueling in this sort of really tight arena. You know, the dragons are up breathing fire above us, and the pus of men are down below. So it's like, ooh. Fuck me, like, this is so much more interesting. Fucking stylish weapon art. Love it. Fucking love this weapon. So obviously in these narrow areas, I'm trying to go for a roll back down, fuck up, Puzzle Man slaps me down. Yeah, snap freeze in these areas, fantastic, because they, like, all they can do is either stand in it, or roll to the side and get hit by the Puzzle Man. So, fantastic. See? Like you see there, like a soul spear on its own, you know, you're not going to hit anyone with that unless they A, can't see what you're doing, or B, are distracted. So again, like I said, snap freeze works well in conjunction with soul spear. He actually rolls off the edge, and he makes a run back to the bonfire. And you know, he makes his run back to the bonfire, which is fine. We had our cool little epic duel on the side of the bridge there, so you know, I enjoyed that, and you know, coming back to the bonfire's fine now. Now he's on his own. I'm just trying to practice the reroll backstabs. Managed to get one on him. Try and roll catch him with the weapon art. Unfortunately, the best way to sort of hit people, I think, with that kind of weapon art is to manually aim it rather than lock on, because it ends up just hitting the ground otherwise. Get greedy, and he managed to clip me a couple of times. Does fucking good damage with that ultra. Oop, almost. Still get 2R1s. Go to the longsword. Dead. GG, sir. That was good fun. Get the Shwarakari edge. Now for our final invasion, where this is the culmination of everything I learnt whilst I was invading with this character. So I've got my snap freeze ready, and I use it to great effect here. So we've got Mr. Password Summon Phantom and XL using Black Knight guy, and these guys were good sports. They put up a good fight. So I keep forgetting to swap that fucking obscuring ring out once I've engaged. It's one of those things I always forget about, and I swap over to the Bellowing Dragon Crest ring. I'm pretty. I mean, obviously it will affect the damage done by Soul Spear, but I'm not sure about the damage that gets done by Frostbite. I mean, I assume, you know, the same rules apply, and I don't know if it's quicker to proc, or that you get more damage done when you actually proc Frostbite. I'm not sure. It's one of those things I'll have to have someone to test with. So again, like, I'm trying to hold this choke point like I did before, but I'm doing it more effectively by using Snap Freeze to push them back, because obviously either they'll roll forward and roll into the cloud and they'll get frostbitten and then attacked by me, or they can roll backwards. And the Frostbite has quite a long reach to it, so yeah, they're still going to be building up Frostbite, and you know, they're just pushed further and further away from the PvE. So we get Mr. Blue, and he's also a wizard. He's nowhere near as cool as me. The coolest wizard in town, people, with my 2 spells and my Greatsword. Yeah, again, the crossbow guys and the undead hunter charm throwing dude, fucking doing good work, and I'm just trying to keep them away. So there's loads of projectiles being flung around by the PvE and then by me. So they all take loads and loads of little bits of damage. So as soon as I see them coming close, snap freeze, get away, get away. It's like Bloodborne, away, away. Yep, see how far away they were when snap freeze proc frostbite on them. That's really, really good. and because it's sort of no one carries Brine Blue Moss Clumps around really, and no one pays it any mind because poison, is damage over time, and you're gonna wanna cure that. But frostbite is sort of everyone ignores it, even at low levels. So it's such a really good status effect. I mean, it was so maligned and mocked when the game was released. Like, oh, frostbite's just poor man's bleed. Why would you ever want to do a frostbite build? But it's so fucking useful because everyone fucking ignores it. Yep, nice parry. Gets crossbow bolts to the face. You see they're putting on a good amount of pressure, gradually whittling down the PvE. And 1, 2, dead. GG guys. So yeah, that was some fun. I was at level 70. If anyone has any suggestions on how I can further improve this build, please let me know. Alright, thanks guys, I'll see you later.